What's up everyone, OJ here, welcome back to another video, and I am beyond excited to finally get to this topic on a dedicated video because as you guys all know, I am a huge fan of Fire Emblem Three Houses, and now that the Byleth hype, everyone that was so excited for Byleth to be coming into Super Smash Bros. Has settled just a little bit, and hopefully you can sense the sarcasm in that right there. We can take a look at the DLC for Fire Emblem Three Houses. This is called the Cindered Shadows DLC, and it's the final piece of the expansion pass for Fire Emblem Three Houses. Now, in this DLC, you will take control of the Ashen Wolves. This is a secret fourth house that is below the monastery. So, Garrick Mark Monastery, you have this huge, sprawling, just big piece of land that has a town kind of put into there. It is this metropolis, or to say, of that time period, and below it is this shadowy, different type of atmosphere that you don't see portrayed at the top. Okay, so that's what we're going to be exploring with the Abyss in the Fire Emblem DLC Cindered Shadows. So I wanted to go over the official information for this game because, believe it or not, there's still a lot of people that don't know how does it connect, are you going to be able to recruit the characters, what's going on with this, and of course my thought process on all of this, what I'm thinking overall, and how I think that this could be the best piece of DLC that Nintendo has ever released. Honestly, it's looking like it's going to line up right with Torna The Golden Country when it comes down to it. So let's go ahead and get right into the official information for this game. So the Fire Emblem Three Houses Cindered Shadows DLC will be officially launching on February 13th, not too long from now. And as previously revealed, it'll feature brand new characters from the Ashen Wolves house, a new area below the Garrick Mark Monastery, and it's called the Abyss. Now, once you've downloaded the DLC, it can be accessed on a new side story option on the main menu. And this side story will be a different save data than the one used for the main game. So you're not going to be able to carry over like a New Game Plus or have some extra things in there. It's completely separate, except for one little part at the end, which we'll get to. Now, the gameplay flow will be different from what you're used to with Fire Emblem Three Houses. There won't be a calendar system, to probably the joy of many people out there, or maybe to the dismay of some. And instead, you'll be fighting battles using predetermined squads of characters. So it's more straightforward, kind of like Torna The Golden Country compared to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now, this explains the scene in the reveal trailer where it shows Edelgard and Hilda fighting on the same side, which normally isn't possible because, for those who don't know, you can't recruit Hilda and Edelgard on the same team. So it just doesn't work that way. It won't let you. So that explains pretty much everything that was happening in that scene, which is cool. I like them adding in things that you couldn't have done before. Now, the maps in Cindered Shadows is also going to be using all sorts of different types of tricks and gimmicks to mix up the gameplay. So don't expect the similar type of things that you saw in Three Houses, just like the backup coming up when you get to certain plot points and everything. There could be a lot more things that they add into this one in order to mix up the gameplay and kind of provide a different experience than what you saw before. Now, this DLC won't completely be separate from the main story, kind of like I alluded to before. Once you beat the side story, you'll be able to recruit the 4 new characters, Balthus, Yuri, Happy, and Constance, into the game's main story. So it is going a little bit a step beyond what we saw with Torna The Golden Country and some of Nintendo's other big expansion DLC for their single player games, because you'll be able to actually recruit these characters into the main story, and that's going to be something that's really going to change the mechanics if you're playing on maddening, or if you're playing on hard, or depending on what you're trying to do with the game, right? Because these characters could be broken OP for all we know, or they could be really good that add in that missing element that you need to get past one certain point or to beat this one certain map, especially with all the new DLC and new stuff that they've added in with the auxiliary battles and the tougher difficulty. This could really bring out some new gameplay opportunities for many people in the mainline story quest, and I absolutely love that transition. Like I said, it's a little bit better than Torna The Golden Country because Xenoblade Chronicles 2 came first, then it was Torna, and there was really no tie back in terms of after you beat Torna and then what you can do in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, or even vice versa, right? Whereas with this one here, they're actually saying you can take those characters and put them into the main game. Absolutely phenomenal, and makes it completely worth the $24.99 that I paid for the expansion pass. Now, we don't know how long this is going to be, but based off of just what I'm seeing here and the amount of members, how it's predetermined, it does seem like it might be somewhere around like 9 to 10 hours, maybe a little bit less. Maybe it's not as deep or in depth, maybe as what we've got with Torna. I'm not really sure. We have to wait and see with the replay value, have to wait and see what they're doing with all of the content. I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but I'm just guessing on that front, if I had to make a guess, just based on the size of what they've already stated so far. But I'm extremely excited for this DLC. It literally looks all kinds of amazing. So far, Yuri looks pretty cool. I like Constance as well, and they've actually even started showing more of the characters. Nintendo and Intelligent Systems are showing off little clips of each of the characters of the Ashen Wolves, and I think that these people have big personalities and they're going to be really fun to play through. But I think the best thing about this, if you play through Fire Emblem Three Houses and you talk to everybody, you'll start understanding a little bit more that Garreg Mach Monastery and this DLC, we might find out exactly what happens, exactly what Garreg Mach is about, because we don't even know who built Garreg Mach. We don't even know the original architects. We don't even know so many different things. And maybe behind all of the Rhea charm and everything that's on the top, the church, therein lies the secrets, and therein lies the actual origins of what happened, how was Garreg Mach built, who built it, and what was the original purpose of this. That's what I think that Cindered Shadows is really going to reveal. It's going to show off the origins, what happened, and how these students were banished to this underneath abyss. And that name is just absolutely like terrifying for some, to live underneath Garreg Mach. And you'll start noticing when you play the game, or if you're playing it right now, they start talking about beneath Garreg Mach and how there's so many mysteries and they don't know things. And that's what I'm excited about the most, because I noticed that during my playthrough. I was like, man, like you go underneath a couple times, and then you also have the extra DLC where you can go to the Amiibo Gazebo and you can go underneath again. So they've alluded to it quite a bit before we got this DLC. So it's good to see them kind of tying up the loose ends with it. And Cindered Shadows absolutely looks amazing when it comes to the graphical style and the design of the characters. I think there's probably been some graphics improvements throughout the DLC in terms of the patches and updates. It definitely looks a bit sharper now at this point than it did when it first launched. So I love how Intelligent Systems really just brought their all to this. I think for their first real HD game, first real HD Fire Emblem, they really hit it out of the park with this one, and I'm really excited to see what they do next, because if this is a taste of what's possible with Fire Emblem going forward, man, fans are in for big surprises and even better games than what we got with Fire Emblem Three Houses. But I also wanted to mention another thing that really excites me about the Cindered Shadows DLC, and it's something that maybe some people thought might have been a negative, but I think in this regard, which kind of ties back to the length of the campaign, I think that having a set team where you have all of the lords that you can have, Dimitri, you have Claude, and also Edelgard, you have all of them, plus your main character. You have one house representative from the Black Eagles, the Golden Deer, and the Blue Lions with Hilda. You also have Ash, and then you have Lindhart. And then you have the 4 new characters. I love that there is that predetermined team. I think that it kind of ties back to there not being the calendar system, not having to worry about recruiting this character and that character, having to make a bunch of flowers and invite people to tea time. It's just really focusing on the story, the DLC itself, Garreg Mach underneath, and the characters. So I think that in many regards, just kind of like how Torna is a more pure form for some people out there, and some actually enjoy it more than Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I think that the Cindered Shadows for many people could be enjoyed to an extent, probably a little bit less when it comes down to it, because there's no core crystal nonsense in Fire Emblem Three Houses. But I think that a lot of people might find this as a more enjoyable, smaller, bite-sized experience for those who maybe aren't as big into the whole sprawling type of calendar systems and different types of stuff that you have to do in the regular game. So that's exciting for many too, and for me, it's a nice change of pace. I don't need the same exact thing that we got in the main campaign, because I'm still playing through that as we get with the DLC. So that's also something that I'm really excited about too with this DLC, Cindered Shadows. What are you guys' thought process when it comes to the Cindered Shadows DLC? Are you guys excited for this one? Do you plan on picking it up? Did Byleth in Super Smash Bros. Motivate you to go out there and buy Fire Emblem Three Houses? I saw that quite a bit when it comes down to the reveal. People were mad and are like, oh man, this sucks. Well, let me go buy Fire Emblem Three Houses in the meantime. Grumble, grumble, grumble. That's what it seemed like from some people. So it looks like Nintendo's plan worked in that regards, but man, this is just really cool. As a super Fire Emblem fan, I'm so excited that this is a major franchise that gets this type of DLC, this type of attention. It's just great to see, considering where Fire Emblem was 10 years ago or so. Man, this is like a complete U-turn 180 from potentially Fire Emblem disappearing like F-Zero or like Golden Sun, going MIA for a long time, to it being one of the key franchises for Nintendo going forward. Pretty much one of the earliest announced Switch games. Back in 2017 being announced a new Fire Emblem game before the system even launched. Completely different, and I love every single second of it. So what are you guys' thoughts on this new Cindered Shadows DLC? Are you guys planning on picking it up along with Fire Emblem Three Houses if you don't already have the game? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And make sure you check out our brand new second channel, OJX, for funny gameplay videos and more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.